Hello, this is Steve. So let's get right into our measurements and our building materials that we're going to need, our grocery list, if you will, in order to make a crate to ship this panel, the stained glass panel, safely to its customer. What are we going to need? Well, it's pretty basic. At Lowe's, you can buy extruded polystyrene insulation board. Comes in various measurements, thicknesses, and R values of which we don't really care about. Reason is we're using it for packing insulation because it does not compress very well. Excellent for what we're going to do with it. We're going to use it for our padding, but in a different sort of a way. It comes in 4 foot by 8 foot sheets. I'm utilizing a sheet of 3/4 and a sheet of 1 inch. And this you can cut with a standard carpet knife, utility knife type of operations. Very soft material, cuts very well, very cooperative. You're going to need some standard drywall screws. I got 1 5/8. Then we're going to need one board, one 6-foot board, 3/4 inch by 5.5 inch pine. And I got the medium grade. It's not A grade, I got B grade. Perfect for what I need. And the last thing is we're going to need a 4x8 sheet of 3/8 inch sanded shop. It's got a nice finish to it. It's not rough. You're not going to get a bunch of splinters on you like you would with lesser grades. That's our building materials for the most part. Is the wood for our outside border, and we're going to need our skin for the outside, and then inside we're going to utilize this board right here. So let me get this stuff out of the way, set it aside, and kind of get right into our first step. Since my panel is 26 inches and a 16th or whatever, I laid out my panel and measured basically 2 inches outside of it for my spacing. I created diagonal lines for your benefit. I laid the circle in there, my stained glass, on top, and then with my cutter I cut out the circle so that, ta-da, the stained glass will go inside of this. Now what we got to talk about here, this measures 30 3/8 by 30 3/8. Plenty big enough, around 2 inches, all the way around, to put the panel inside of this. Now my 3/4 inch, and I'm utilizing scraps that I had left over from other jobs, doesn't matter, is going to go underneath. So in other words, when you're starting out with a full sheet, you won't have scraps like what I'm utilizing here. You're going to have a sheet of 3/4, a sheet of 1 inch, and another sheet of 3/4 on the top. That distance right there is going to be the core from this board and the other board on top. This measurement right here is what you're going to want to cut out of this board. Let's do that again. I will stick my pine board against the wall. It's sitting on top of this because the screws will come from underneath into the board, and the same thing from the top. So all I really have to do is take my 3 boards, draw myself a line. That's my measurement. Out of this board, I will get, it's 2 3/8, and I will get, I'm going to make it 2 1/2 to allow myself a 1/16 of an inch breathing space. I can get a 2 1/2 inch piece and a 2 1/2 inch piece, and those 2 boards that I'm now going to cut out of this singular board is going to be my edging, so that it's going to look like this. So the next video, I'm going to start putting things together so that you're going to see how everything plays in together with itself. I have to do these as short videos because you don't want to watch me put screws into a board that you already know how to do. So let's go into the next video. Now that you've seen this first one, you have your grocery list. You're going to need pine board, plywood, 2 sheets of such and such, and some drywall screws. Pretty simple grocery list for a very quality item when you see it done. Let's go to the next video. Bye-bye.